Well, you're getting a new city in the great state of Texas.
We love new cities in Texas. So SpaceX, which
by the way, this could have been California if he didn't pick up states.
100%.
Because they were taxing him out of the state.
SpaceX, you're exactly right. They were initially in California, but they moved into the state of Texas. Elon Musk moved to the state of Texas because of the taxes and all that. They got a big tax break with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. So they decided to bring SpaceX to the state of Texas. Well, now they have launched it as a city in the state of Texas.
Yeah, the city's called Starbase, Brian.
Yeah, so this is, they want to keep everybody tight. They said, you know, we're basically in this area anyway. We want to lure the best of the best. So why don't we tell people we have a city around where you work? It almost reminds me of when I watched an Oppenheimer. Yeah. When you're trying to get into intensity and bring the family atmosphere to something that's going to get us to break ice on inventions and imagination, you bring everyone together. So to me, it's a win-win.
Yeah, because most of the people who live there, they work for the company. They work for Elon. They're developing a rocket to land on Mars. And so they decided on Saturday at 8 p.m. to vote on whether or not to incorporate the town and call it Starbase. And so they passed, 97% said they did want it to become a town.
For those that think this is just like a special favor to Elon, this is not the case. Every place in Texas likes their independence. So you have a lot of towns and a lot of cities, they'll break off. They don't want to be a part of the county. They don't want to be a part. They want their own independence. And so if you have the amount of votes, if you have the amount of population that supports you, you can become your own city.
That's
you see it happen all the time.
First time I've seen that building, that big black building with the X on it. It's massive. Thousands of people are employed by Elon in this town.
Yep. Lara Trump had an exclusive interview with Elon Musk, as well as some of the people from the SpaceX team. Here's a little bit of it.
Do you regret doing what you've been doing? Do you regret coming out and supporting President Trump?
Yes, no. Cut that part.
I hope not.
No, I think it was essential for President Trump to win to ensure that America remained great, and that we reached greater heights. Really, some very basic things need to happen. We need to have, obviously, a secure border. We need to have safe cities. We need to have sensible spending. I think if President Trump had not won, I think the Democrat campaign to import vast numbers of illegal voters would have succeeded. And they would have naturalized vast numbers of illegals during the sort of Kamala regime. And they would have turned America into a one-party state from which we could never escape.
So he went on to say that one of the reasons, like, why did you come to the Trump camp? And it really goes back to when he realized there were so many people on the right who were being deplatformed, including President Trump. He bought X. And we know the back and forth with that it's all in Walter Isaacson's book. But when he gets it and it's revealed what was going on behind the scenes, when he brings in Matt Taibbi and the others, Michael Schellenberger, and they start revealing all the biases and all the repression and all the shadow banning that was taking place. It reinforced to him, and by the way, how he was simply X'd out of the so-called the left-wing community because he started exposing some of the bias that was taking place. Then he realized how bad this could be if Joe Biden or the Democratic Party won again, because not only would they come after him, they're going to go start locking down the media and the press again.
I think it goes back to what you talk about, Ainsley, a lot, common sense. I think a lot of people his story is really not that unique in the sense of course, he's a famous guy. He's the world's most wealthy person. But a lot of people who were Democrats just said it went too far. And they weren't focused on the things that matter to the American people. And now there's been a realignment right now. And it just doesn't seem like the Democrats are changing their message.
Well, the jobs report came out at the end of the week on Friday, and we have added 177,000 jobs. That was unexpected. That's exactly what DOGE was trying to do. That was for the month of April. It was a very strong report. And the federal jobs fell 9,000. So what happens, according to this editorial board, article in the New York Post. It says, in other words, this is exactly what should be happening. They wrote, U.S. employers added 177,000 jobs in April. In a surprisingly strong report, labor force participation rose even as federal jobs plummeted by 9,000. That Fed jobs figure is down 26,000 in total since January. In other words, this is exactly what should be happening. For example, U.S. job gains should be fueled by private sector growth, not by adding ever more padding to Uncle Sam's payroll.
Right. So if it was, these guys are cut, they lost their jobs, look how bad the job numbers are going to be. Why are they getting better? Because these people are leaving their jobs, maybe with payouts, and they're getting private sector positions. And that's exactly what happened. We're up to 2.7 million federal workers. They've cut in 250,000, I think, so far. And in April alone, they had said that number at 9,000. So they're finding other jobs with that on their resume. Also, I understand states are recruiting the federal workers because they need them, because a lot of the states need to hire people.
And we got to take this into context. We're only a little over 100 days. So just imagine when we get a first year of this administration and the realignment of our federal government. Some of these jobs are redundant. Some of these jobs we don't even need. Some of them are a part of waste, fraud, and abuse. So there's going to be an entire... They haven't even made it through every single department, every single cabinet. Sure, they've assigned some people, but they're fighting the federal government, the federal courts right now when it comes to some of these employment. Some of these people, they have to rehire back. When they finally do get all the waste and fraud and abuse out of our government, I think the numbers are going to be higher in the private sector.
Plus, and with the tariffs, you have more Americans that are getting loans. They're passing legislation so that you can get more capital to build your company. Then that's also going to encourage more hiring, because these new American companies will need workers.
Right. He did say, I thought we'd be able to save a little bit more money than the 100, I think what he said, 250 billion or 150 billion dollars.
60, I think.
Which I think is good, but I think what's underappreciated, even by him, is the systems and accountability and the modernization that's taking place, in which he left his team behind. That's going to be taking place, whether it's human resources, whether it's record keeping, whether it's stopping future fraud down the line.
Technology.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's quantifiable, where you can actually use the numbers that he gave you in order to hand it over to the Office of Management and Budget to say, okay, this is my budget. This is a big, beautiful bill. This is the money we saved, and now figure it into the money we got to spend on places like defense.
That's exactly right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.